Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Chachwadash. Double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to all you hopeful Lektakim out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, and I'm doing this lesson, real quick, based on the highlighted situation that's going on in San Francisco with the major power outage. They say about 1/3 of the city has lost power for more than 24 hours. And this was released at 3:41 today. And they're still dealing with some of the problems, because the problem wasn't just a blown fuse or something like that. It was an actual big fire that happened inside one of their substations. But what I wanted to highlight is that the San Francisco news was literally telling people to stay indoors, because there was a lot of people getting raped, a lot of people getting stabbed, a lot of crime was taking place, break-ins, etc. And there was a big pile up on the roads because of these Waymo cars. And these Waymo cars are the self-driving cars, because they run off algorithms and cameras that see traffic lights. So when there's no traffic lights, there's no traffic light patterns, these different Waymo and self-driving vehicles, just like the movie, what happened to Leave the World Behind? Yeah, Leave the World Behind, when you had all the Teslas, the self-driving option inside of them was having them pile up in a random ass highway outside the city, which is what Esau can use to jam up the main roads of transportation, just to keep people exactly where they're at, so no one can escape, and the freedom of travel is not going to be accessible. These roads can plug up so quick, man. Just look at what happens when there's a single fender bender on the freeway. So without further ado, this is just highlighting the time that we're coming into, because a power outage and something going wrong like this, I'm going to bring it up on ChatGPT, but it has literally been talked about by experts in the government, saying that some 90% of the United States population would be unalived based on a power outage. So what they're doing on these so-called fires that break out, they're planning controlled blackouts. They're planning the chaos so that these people can be at each other's throats. A crime can increase, and there can be a cry for a dystopian, draconian type totalitarian control from the government to just stop the fact that so much violence and pillaging and looting is happening in the streets just because the lights went out. So this is San Francisco power outage leaves large majority of the city without lights, causes self-driving cars to stall in the road. This is, we are working with first responders and city officials on the outage affecting 130,000 customers, the Pacific Gas and Electric Company shared on social media. So one of the things that they said was that it says, along with leaving a majority of the city in the dark, the outage caused self-driving cars to stall in the road, creating traffic jams throughout the city. So these self-driving cars can be used to plug up certain critical modes of transportation and routes that people could use to escape, or just to cause more chaos and allowing somebody not to get home, So I wanted to highlight one more thing. So right here, this is a part of it. So this is what I wanted to bring out. This is Mayor Daniel Lurie also urged residents to stay indoors and avoid travel during the outage. So the main point is that they're telling you to stay inside, because the outages that happened, the cameras are down, there's a blackout. Unless you have a backup generator attached to your business, which very few people do, there's no cameras. So what do you think? People know that. They know that power is what keeps the cameras and lights on. So when there's no cameras and lights on, guess what's going to happen? It's going to get medieval in this bitch real quick, So again, I'm going to keep that, as just the most recent highlight of what happened out there in San Francisco. And I also asked this question in ChatGPT, and then I'm going to get a few scriptures. This, I asked it, what percentage of Americans would be unalived if the power went out according to experts? This is experts have who have speculated about what would happen if the US power grid were to collapse indefinitely, no electricity for a long period such as a year or more, have used some very extreme numbers. But these are not formal scientific census projections and often come from testimony in a specific context like EMP threat discussions, not mainstream hazard modeling. So this is saying that this is a model based on if we were attacked by like an EMP that would completely fry all the electronics. And this says in testimony, blah, 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 it says James Woolsey, also, which is a former CIA director, James Woolsey cited two rough experts' estimates for long-term grid collapse. About two-thirds, that number sounds familiar, 66% of the U.S. population could die from starvation, disease, lack of water, and societal collapse. Societal collapses means there's no police, there's no judgment, there's no juror, there's no law, and there's no order. Within about a year of a prolonged outage, up to 90% could die under the worst scenarios within a similar time frame. So again, this is facts. You can go look it up. And these are the numbers that are estimated based on something cataclysmic happening, which is eventually coming. And this one city, and only 1/3 of the city in San Francisco got affected by a blackout, and you have chaos happening. That's why they really say within 3 days, most people will turn on their neighbor. Like what's it? Alex Jones? Alex Jones asks, "I will eat my neighbor. I will eat you. For my family not to starve, I will eat my neighbor." He's straight bugging out, man, showing you the type of mentality that these so-called good old citizens have. And guess what is coming? Many great miseries, because that blackout scenario is going to happen, brothers. So you got to prepare, your family accordingly. First and foremost, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, repent, lead your family accordingly through the Spirit so that they can deal with these things and understand why these things are happening. But as well as if you see these hazards coming, I recommend brothers get, a couple supplies, get some dry food, get some cases of water, get a means to defend yourself, in a sense of, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, type of thing. Get a way to boil water. There's a thing called a jet boil. If you look, I highly recommend brothers to look in backpacking basic essential gear checklists. And I have actually even done videos, like it's been a couple years, it's been years since I've done a video on it, but I used to do videos, on different gear that is recommended for brothers to get, just to have on deck. Not like you're going to put your faith into it, but it's not unwise to have certain tools that are available in this modern world to be able to use to your expense in case you needed it. That's point blank period, just using common sense and wisdom and knowledge, man. If you have access to these things, you have the money, you have the means, man, throw a couple shekels here and there at, getting a good backpacking, setup, a little tent, a water filter, a way to boil your water. A water filter and boiling your water are two different things. You have to have a microbial either pump filter, or if they have these little mini filters that you can screw on the end of any water bottle and just squeeze out the dirty water, and the water that comes out the nozzle that you screwed in is clean drinkable water. So just, not to ramble, because, I'm really interested in, backpacking and going out in the wilderness and being able to be self-sustainable on what you can just carry on your back. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're coming to, being pilgrims. Seeking righteous refuge, and at the end of the day, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to get the glory and his angels for keeping us safe, because there's nothing that you can do on a carnal level to make your chances better, but on a spiritual level and serving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai will greatly increase your chances of survival in the time of Jacob's trouble. This is 2 Ezra 8:50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time, which we're in right now, shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. So you proudful ass people think that American way of life is going to be forever, that you're always going to have water, that you're always going to have electricity, that you're always going to have access to a so-called modern life. No, even the best of countries, have underground bunkers for their citizens. But over here in Babylon the Great, they're waiting for you people to eat each other on the surface. And the bunkers are only for the rich and elite. So you have no one that's coming to save you. You have no help that's coming, Jacob. So who are you going to depend on? That's the answer is Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Because for the great pride, these people aren't going to look for a savior. They're going to look for their carnal means and whatever they can see right in front of them, because they think, oh, this is America. That would never happen. Continuing, verse 51, but understand thou for thyself and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. Straight to the point is, we're only dealing with the elect in these last days. We're not here to try to win arguments. We're not here to try to, get the most followers just because you got melanin. None of that, man. It's all according to the Spirit. If you know about this truth and you're not doing anything about it, you're not on the highways and byways, you're just wasting your time, man. Really. If you just know about this truth and you just being an Israelite is good enough for you, well, guess what? That's not good enough for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because, at the end of the day, the Lord is going to have mercy who he chooses to have mercy on. But if you know about that you're an Israelite and you're not doing anything for it, you haven't stopped eating pork, you haven't stopped participating in these holidays, you haven't stopped living a detrimental lifestyle that you were living, while you were in the world. And when you come into this truth, you're the same old man. Well, it's not going to work, but that's why ultimately, you have to understand how bad it's going to get. And through the fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is how we're going to persuade you. And some of you are going to have to see that fear firsthand, before you think you can get on your knees and repent. But who knows? That could be too late. The Lord can choose to have that terror that you're seeing before your eyes be your end and not give you a chance or a way out or a miracle to save you in the time of Jacob's trouble when everybody's looking for a miracle. So I'm going to read through, Lord willing, verse 19, try to get through it as quick as I can, but Lord willing that, this is continuing to be edifying and exhorting, because this is things brothers need to hear. You need to lock in, and you can highlight these examples that are happening in these major cities, to further, paint the picture very clear for people that think that it can't happen just because we live in a modern world. But this is 2 Ezra 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. There's a lot said there. This message is to the Israelites, and we're speaking prophecy, things that are happening before they happen, things that you need to get prepared before they come. Constantly telling you about the coming judgment day, constantly telling you what the MOTB is, constantly telling you to get right, because it's going to benefit you in the time that we're coming into in the future. Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. And these are the prophets, writing down the visions and dreams that they were given, based on the divine intervention, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, sending the Chachwadash to have these men write these scriptures down, the prophets, the book of the law, all that. Verse 3, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, which is unbelief, that speak against thee. So we're out here trying to tell you the message, whether you can receive it or not, whether you hear or forbear. We're going to tell you what it is, and we're not going to care, and if you're coming into this truth, you shouldn't care what these damn peons think. You shouldn't care what your woman thinks about this truth. You shouldn't care about what your mom thinks about this truth. You shouldn't care about what your dad, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your whole family, your friends in the world. You shouldn't give a fuck what they care about, how they feel about this truth. Because if the Lord put the Spirit upon you, then you're supposed to be doing the right thing no matter what. And it's not to say that you're going to be disrespectful, be against your parents or whatever. But if you have to separate yourself from somebody that's going to trouble you in the building of doing the work and building the temple, starting with yourself first and foremost, then you need to learn how to cut the cancer out of your life and continue, to heal in the light of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua by getting into this word and listening to the elders and apostles and the prophets. Point blank period. Verse 4, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So let the dead bury their dead. If they're not going to believe, that's going to be on them. If you know this truth, then understand for yourself and keep pushing. Like 2 Ezra 8:51 says. Verse 5, Behold, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And we know the words of the Lord don't go out void. So if he says these things are going to happen, they're going to happen. Point blank, period. Famine, death, the sword, destruction, cities laid waste, blackouts, all coming. Verse 6. Why is this happening? Just because the Lord just wants to do it for no reason? No. This is why. Verse 6. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they have profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Whew, man, and that's the prophets, the elect, the 1/3 out there complaining in the type of lifestyle that we have to live based on Esau's wicked ass society, and you have no choice but to participate in this wickedness, in the chains of darkness that is this flesh, this fleshly carnal body that we're subject to. Not to mention that Esau goes above and beyond by polluting the food, the water, the air, everything that you ingest to survive. The clothes that you put on your body, you got fucking polyester, microplastics in it, man. This place fucking hell. So if you ain't mad, you ain't paying attention. Verse 9. And therefore saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will surely avenge them. And that them is the elect. And receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people. That's why this is the only people the Lord is concerned about. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. That's the land of captivity that we're in right now. Modern day Babylon the Great, verse 11. But I, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Ultimately, Babylon the Great is going to be nuclear destruction wasteland for the dragons and the vultures. Ultimately, are the only living creatures that are going to dwell in this land. Verse 12, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. And if you hit the foundation, everything crumbles. What do they say? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Verse 13, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail and with a fearful constellation. Nothing but bad news. The industries are going to collapse. There's not going to be as much food production, which is going to further push the famine. There's going to be crazy judgments that are going to go out because Esau hasn't run the world in order. He's not done crop cycles. He's not let the land rest. He's constantly saturated the fruits and vegetables by constantly cultivating the same thing over and over again on the land. So you think there's not going to become a point when the land just cannot produce anymore? Yes, it's coming. Verse 14, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. That's woe, that's destruction, that's hell. 15, this is getting into the juice, the meat of it now. I mean, this whole chapter is one of my favorites, but this is talking about what I was going into in the beginning of the lesson about how much chaos and purge-like society is going to be out here. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Actual swords, but the modern day sword is a gun. And here in Babylon the Great, there's a lot of those. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They do not care what the government says. These people are going to make little marauding groups, little gangs. They're going to shut off blocks. They're going to shut off cities. They're going to make their own little militaries and go to blast it out with the beast system, man. Which at the end of the day is a more noble death for you fucking patriot-ass Americans than to cower away into a fucking concentration camp, man. Get violent in this bitch in the sense that, this is the last little hurrah you're going to get, Esau. So do whatever you got to do, because at the end of the day, no matter how hard you fight, the crown is going to be fully on Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, as well as the elect ruling. So no matter how hard you fight, you're going to lose. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Point blank period, like the point that I'm proving about how these Waymo vehicles and leave the world behind. You know how you had the self-driving feature on the Teslas start to jam up highways, one after another, just came right in, man. You know, clogging up the roads. Verse 18, for because of their pride, back to that pride, the American pride, the Babylonian pride, you know, the Edomite pride, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. If it's saying these men are going to be afraid, how much more so you women, you children, you little teenage boys that think that you can fucking come and talk shit to the camps, you know, whatever it is. You gonna be afraid. These big men are gonna be afraid. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. Why? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So again, for many great miseries shall be done to them that shall in the latter time dwell in the world. You know, according to 2nd Ezra 8:50, roughly paraphrasing. And these great judgments, many great tribulations are coming right now. And they are sooner than you can believe. Because don't think 2026 is going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Until ultimately these cities be laid waste. Jacob's trouble is full-fledged. And you're going to have people begging for some sort of answer from above. Because their whole world and everything around them is going to be completely destroyed, changed, and taken from them, unless they hold themselves diligently in the fear of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So Lord willing that this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I would like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chodash, and double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Till next time, Lord willing, Shalom.